forest cover, it's sometimes very tricky as a forester. Are we talking the closed canopy, or are we talking total biomass? That has been sometimes a tricky situation. But personally, I'd want to hang around 6%.
Thank you. What plans or initiatives would you come up with to increase the forest cover in Kitui County?
I want to start by looking at what has been done, to identify any gaps, and to see what are the several interest groups. Traditionally, when we talk of tree planting, sometimes we have one big day and everybody goes home. We want to engage the communities, and when you look at the manifesto of His Excellency, he was talking about providing seedlings. I think we need to have more nurseries, especially community nurseries, which we manage the type of seedlings, the type of seed, the type of tree, so that it can match the site where we are taking it. We want to look at what do we have to plant. We have areas which are solely owned by the county government, some hills, watersheds, water towers. We want to use that as a county tree planting process. Then we have private land and farmland. We want to engage the farmers. I mentioned earlier that the traditional way is to tell the farmer plant 50 trees and then you wait for 15 years for the tree to mature. I think I want to introduce a combination of plant 40 trees instead of 50, and between put grass. It will be a win-win because we will do soil and water conservation.
Thank you. That's enough, sir.
Yeah.
My other question is there any personal initiative which can be associated with you in line with your profession and which has contributed and can be cited as a landmark from you in this county?
Yes.
Just like we have heard of Dr. Isaac Kalua, his love for tree planting, greening this country and this county. Is there any personal initiative we can associate with you in line with your profession?
Yes. One, I have put together previously a team to find out this tree called Mukau, how widely spread it is. And personally, I've done a lot of survey beyond the rack and so on, and to find out which are the plus trees, so that when we come to say we are planting Mukau, we are having seed from already known plus trees. In the forest also we select trees just like in the livestock, how you can select a bull. So that is one area I think it has been a personal initiative.
It has been a personal initiative?
Yes.
Any evidence of the same? Probably physical or reference we can make?
Yes. I mean, before I left it, I gave it also to Kefri, and we have trees which are marked all over from Voi to Embu, which are trees which they are calling mother trees.
Okay,
yes.
That's very good. Yes. You've not come out emphatically in your introduction to talk about charcoal trade. I would want you to delve more on the same. Tell us, is the CEC who will be in charge of energy, the CEC who will be in charge of our forests? What basically would you do about charcoal trade in this county?
As I had mentioned, it all starts by having proper policies and regulatory frameworks which will involve charcoal producers, methods of production, because, for example, if we go the traditional way, the threat is, when I speak traditional, is somebody picks an axe, goes for one tree, you rarely do 3 trees a month. But when you bring the power saw, you can do an acre in 1 hour. Those are some of the things we want to control. True, try to put together the producers at the lowest level and have an inventory. How much have you produced? Because we have village administrators who can be taxed to monitoring how much is coming from your village, so that we don't have people overdoing it. 3, I would want to look at what trees are we cutting, because sometimes we can encourage people cutting.
That's enough. I got it. So basically, what you're talking about is you would want to regulate charcoal trade.
Yes.
Would you not advocate for the banning of charcoal trade in Kitui County?
I would state straight to go to ban, because to me, if we ban totally without proper alternatives, it will still be done illegally, and we'll spend more time just chasing the illegal producers and transporters. However, if we regulate it, the producers themselves will become part of the people controlling and knowing what much they are producing. At this point in time, I would not want to advocate for total ban.
The same about sand harvesting?
The same about sand harvesting.
Thank you, Richard. You come from Kitui South, an area which is known to have vast mineral deposits. Would you highlight just a few of the minerals you know, not just in Kitui South alone, in this entire county, which, if exploited, can bring some economic growth to the county?
Yes, I mean, we are talking about coal in Moi every day. But when you talk about coal, we also want to know how it is exploited, because the traditional methods have become internationally being opposed. So we have coal, we have limestone, which is so towards the area of Kanziko and so on. We have iron, which starts from Ikuda all the way to Voi, but I'm talking about the Kitui side. We have vermiculite. Vermiculite is a silent mineral used to do fireproof materials like ceilings and so on. It's not being exploited, but it's down here. We share it with the MBUNGENÄ. We have industrial graphite, yet we are importing pens.
Thank you. Let's say you have already highlighted on the main ones.
Yes.
Very specifically, when you sit as the CCM, after this approval, if it goes your way, what will you say you'll do about coal in Moi Basin?
Again, I want to start by the county, because there is room in the fourth schedule developing airtight policies and regulatory framework for engagement with the national government if it comes to extraction. 2, I will spearhead for what we call best available technology. It is not just going to dig about coal, but having the best available technology which safeguards the environment and our people. 3, if we are using it there, we'll also want it to have safeguards into after exploitation, whether open pit or closed. How do we get our people back? How do we recover the environment which has already been extracted? And finally, off and above, it's about poverty. What is the equity component into the exploitation?
So basically, you are telling this committee and the people of Kitui that yes, you will advocate for coal exploitation in the Moi Basin, but again, with emphasis on safety.
Safety, equity, because it's not about a lorry coming and a lorry going and the residents are just watching. It's about what do we get out of it.
Thank you. With permission from the chair, just as a hint, I would ask you, given this chance, in probably 2 minutes, what should we expect from you and your ministry in your first 100 days in office?
Permission is granted, so you have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you. 1, I wanted to assess the capacity, existing capacities of the departments there, because those are the people who will take us forward. 2, very quickly, I want to know what are the instruments in place to make this being operationalized, because it means if they are not there, we have to put them in place. And 3, I want to put in place instruments of engaging the public so that they know what we are doing, either in energy, environment, and mineral resources.
Mwendando, I was asking you what the people of Kitui should expect in terms of development. Visible development to them from your ministry in your 100 days in office. I will still ask the chair, request the chair to give you another 2 minutes, because what you have talked is more about policy formulations, administration. We just want, we represent the people. And what we take home is development.
Perhaps, Mheshimiwa Nkanga, as
Yes,
a
sir.
response,
Yes, sir.
we also need to know whether you understand the Kitui County government policy in your particular department. You should have done your research work. Tell us what is our policy and how will you improve on it, the existing policy.
Thank you. Yes, I've looked at the existing policies in this docket. And as I've mentioned, on Chaco, for example, I said the 2014 policy was not really implemented. Instead, I think between there was a ban on Chaco. So, to me, that is an area which I understand what was happening. On energy, there was the Kanyonyo solar, which was also going to be developed. But to me, the most important thing was we should have improved on solar more than what we are doing. Then on mineral resources, I dare say not much is happening which is organized, except what we are told we are going to do coal or we are not going to do coal. There isn't much as a county we are doing, either in policy on minerals, policy development, or exploitation, or engaging a serious partner.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes,
Chair, just a follow-up question.
Yes, please.
On the side of minerals.
Yes.
I think Kitui South is the leading in limestone. What is your thinking? Are we going to extract, or are we going to take the coal, the limestone, and then we leave all on your thinking? Is it possible that we build a company there and we do the processing there, or we just take with the Lord, as you said?
My take in this is I would want to see everything processed there because of 3 major considerations. 1, employment will be local, or at least non-super professionals will be sourced from the local team. 2, it will spur money flow within that area. And 3, on climate change, we will be reducing on what we call carbon miles. And this means internationally, we are reducing transporting something from Mwingi all the way to Mombasa for processing because it costs a lot of emissions and so on. So I would prefer, of course, with those safeguards, local manufacturing on site.
Okay.
And if I may add, sir, to process cement, and the national government has said that, we import coal. Why would you want to import coal when Kitui South and Moi are bordering to process cement? So it will be one range which everything is available.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mandano, remember, we are recording this on your answer, so use your microphone very well as you respond. Allow me now to welcome Honorable Matthew Ngobivode to ask you a few questions.
Thank you, Chair. My question goes to electricity. I think, Mr. John, with your understanding, electricity regulation is one of the functions that has been developed in counties. How do you intend to utilize this avenue to ensure increase in electricity connectivity within the county? And how are you going to assist our residents in Kitui County, especially in the payment of the connectivity? Thank you.
Thank you. I fully agree, sir, that connectivity has become a major challenge in terms of the cost. However, we all know that we have strategic partners who have been trying to support this country and counties to expand connectivity of electricity. And what I mean by this is something like shilingi kwa shilingi. You know, the donor comes says, we'll put 1 shilling, you have to put a shilling. And this is an area we need to maximize so that we are able, and I work for a budget which can be our contribution so that we also tap in on the donors' contribution. As far as where do we take the priorities, that will be now administrative work in consultation with you and other relevant people and institutions. But I intend to very much push for this partnership of shilingi kwa shilingi or shilingi kwa shilingi mbili, that kind of arrangement with the former REA, which is the rural electrification. I think they have renamed it some a new name of late.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we have Mheshimiwa Hussein Mwandia ask a few questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'll take only 5 minutes. Richard John Mwandando. I think that's your name.
Yes.
My question will be guided by law and more so our constitution. Chapter 5 of our constitution 2010, Article 69. It is part 2 of that chapter, talks of environment and natural resources. And the obligations of the government or government arms as far as environment is concerned. If we go to Article 69, subsection H, it says that the state shall utilize the environment and natural resources for the benefit of the people of Kenya. Based on that, please, Mr. Mwandando, we have a problem of encroachment in our forests, use and riparian areas. What policies will you put in place to stop this and protect our green areas? Guided by Chapter 5 of our Constitution 2010.
Thank you, sir. One, in this chapter, when you look at it widely, also the government has a responsibility to provide safe and good environment to the residents. So it is not just they will use carelessly. Looking at encroachment, encroachment is very well covered by national laws, which we can also domesticate. Encroachment could be encroachment on protected areas. And this is very rampant. When I talk of protected areas, I talk like the national park. We can talk of Kora National Park, where it is the prey field of Hada. So that is covered under the Protected Areas Act. We look at riverine protection, which with a lot of humility, we are all cultivating up to the river. There are laws, there are instruments like in agriculture, water, and forest, which say don't encroach riparian land up to the river. So these are some of the acts which we intend to look at, domesticate, and engage our people to understand it is for their good, not to cultivate or to cut trees up to the river. Just like sand, it is to their good, not to scoop until you leave the rock at the bottom. These are some of the issues which we need to manage and control. Because if we don't do it, then the quality of the environment goes down and the quality of livelihoods goes down. Both those things are related.
Another question.
Yes.
We have our areas like the KITUI South National Game Reserve, the Kora, and currently we are experiencing a lot of maiming, killings. As an environmentalist, what, in your own understanding, what measures, if given the chance, you think you can employ to ensure that those conflicts are reduced? Because our people, the Kambas and the Kamo herders, are fighting.
Well, sir, first of all, I have to say these are resource-based conflicts. They are not political, as people tend to say. They are resource-based. What I mean by natural resource-based, I mean the conflict between the, call them the Kambas and our neighbors, is about grazing. And especially if you have followed it, it only happens in the dry period from August to October. Once it rains, everybody goes back to his business. I think from where I stand, our neighbors have overstocked their land. They need to be discounted to engage the national government to find a way of saying, can you have enough livestock which can be well taken care of in your area? Because they have overstocked. And once you overstock, you cannot have enough feed around the year. Come July, August, during the dry period, you will start with the Kora National Park, nobody is protecting it. Then you'll go to the national reserves and you'll find the Kambas there also trying to eat, to hike life. And then the conflict arises. So I think this is more complex than just sending a few policemen there, but we need also to clearly pass a message that they are overstocking the area. And that's what is causing problems in other areas. You can ask about, if you say, why the Maasais are not coming this way. I dare say because they have the Amboseli, they have the Savo West, which is really very rich before they reach us. But where they don't have that, they are still also in the conflict. It's about overstocking.
So, Mr. Mwandando, on that context, would you encourage campers also to have more cattle like our neighbors so that we can utilize our forestry? Because my understanding is they come because we are not utilizing those areas, the like of KITUI Southern National Game Reserve.
I think telling people to carelessly have too many animals than the area they can have, it will be suicidal in a way. What we need is better quality animals, even if they are less. And the Kambas already, I dare say to this honorable committee, Kambas already we are on the right direction. We want better animals to give us better revenue, not hundreds of animals which are dying each year. So I will not advocate for us having many animals. I will advocate for us to have quality animals which are within your land capacity.
I'm done.
A follow-up question, Chair, if you allow. Mr. Mwandando. Thank you, Chair. Please, we are not interested in your knowledge of the problem. Give us a solution. Our people are being killed by camel herders. We are being driven from home. We are being displaced. As a CCM sitting in the executive arm of this government, what would you want us to do, or what would you do?
Sir, if you listen to me, I was bringing an angle which has not been mentioned. The current solutions are political. What I mean by political is we are going to engage and tell these people move out and they won't come back. During the engagement, the rains come and they move out voluntarily. It is why I'm saying we need, as a county, to put instruments of communication to the national government, because that is allowed. County governments and national governments, it is allowed in the Constitution to consult to formulate common approach to common problems and say, from where we stand, those fellows have overstocked. They're having too many animals. And unless also instruments are put for them to have less animals, they are bound to come. This is a natural resource conflict. We are not in conflict politically, we are not in conflict militarily, we are in conflict because I have to come and graze on your side. And it has to be stopped by, I'll give you a little example if you allow. In Tokyo, before you buy a car, because they have money, you have to have a certificate saying you have night parking for that car. Because where will you park your car if you buy a car when you don't have parking? So also what I'm saying is they should have not really a certificate, knowledge. They should be told, have enough animals which can be certified in your area to avoid resource conflict. And resource conflicts have caused a lot of problems elsewhere, not just here. So I think there is need to communicate that to the national government, that as accounting. Overstocking is causing us problems.
Thank you. Any other question? I think
Just a follow-up.
Follow-up.
Yeah.
Be brief, please.
Yeah, it's very brief.
Yes.
I think you have told us that the policies, many policies are concerned with the cultivation along the river banks in our protected areas. Which mechanism which policy will use, or mechanism you are going to use to enforce for that as a minister, if you get that chance?
Thank you. I think first it starts by informing and sensitizing our people. It's not just one day you wake up, you cut a rungu and tell them out. We very widely, as a department, say, inform them of the dangers, of the risks of cultivating up the river. And it used to happen before, many years. And then we sensitize them. We have means of engaging people in livestock, means in agriculture. We want to use those avenues and forests to sensitize them. And then start telling them, move back voluntarily. Otherwise, we'll start looking who is not moving back voluntarily. These are the instruments we want to maximize. And of course, we have extension services. We want to use those extension services to inform the people that it is not helping them climbing all the way to Mother Hill and cutting trees from the top. They are cutting their own livelihoods. To me, I think education, sensitization is very important.
Thank you. Let me now allow Honorable Judith Wanza to ask a few questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mwandandu. Congratulations for making it to that far.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is just very simple. I want to know, the county government has invested heavily in the installation of street lights in both urban and rural areas. Most of the lights, unfortunately, do not work. How will you ensure that our urban as well as rural spaces are adequately lit at a cost that is both manageable and sustainable?
One, immediately, if this honorable committee allows me and I get to be the CC, we want to take stock immediately of what was there and repair. Because the repair is part and parcel of any development as we expand. However, because I'm also a resident of KITUI, we also have to address issues of thuggery, of deliberate damage of these street lights and also these solar lights. It is an issue which we need to address, and from where I stand, we need to address it in two-way approach. One, let the people understand, if you allow your son, your daughter, anybody to destroy this, it is the very issue you are asking for. So we need the people to be part and parcel of the protecting those things. Then two, we need to sensitize people that these lights, they are for you. You asked your mheshimiwa to fight for light, and yet 2 days later the battery is stolen or that thing. So to me, I'm seeing a situation whereby we have not really engaged the community is strong enough to know they are part and parcel of protecting those things. Of course, I mean, you go to Nairobi and you see all sort of one man of destruction, but still, we are a small account. Maybe we could use traditional way of telling people, look, this is ours.
Okay, Mr. Mwandandu, I have another question for you. The whole world is currently dealing with the effects of climate change. What plans do you have to increase our forest cover?
I did mention that to increase tree cover, we need to plant trees. I want to strive to have a community large nursery per ward, because you cannot transport seedlings from Ekutha to go and plant in Mwindi. The cost of transport doesn't make sense. That is one area, because to have seedlings, you need tree nurseries. We want to promote those ones. Two, we want as much as possible as a department to see whether we can engage the producers of the tree nurseries.
I'm asking about the Kitui County, how climate change has affected the Kitui County. That's the area we are dwelling in.
Okay, we have not been here. Thank you. Climate change is a global issue first. And when we cascade it, it has affected us very seriously. I mentioned our people are directly relied on the environment for agriculture, for food, for everything. With the climate change advent, food production has been affected. Fodder, grasslands have been affected. Water has been affected because when it rains, it is runoff. How do we mitigate, if I may say? There are two major instruments of mitigation. One is adaptation. This short term, because it's where we look and strive to source for funding from the Climate Green Fund, from the Adaptation Fund Board, from the global mechanisms. I'm lucky about that network to address things of adaptation and to address issues of mitigation. Mitigation is a long term, and it involves a lot of tree planting, a lot of grass planting with the communities. And outside there are people willing to say, if you are going to plant trees, we are going to support you.
Okay, fine. I would like you to tell the panel what plans would you put in place to ensure better waste management in our dumping site. That's in Kalundu, and this is a hazard.
Let me start broadly by saying waste management has been treated carelessly all over. But it is their time we put instruments in place to do proper handling of waste management. For me, Kalundu is an eyesore. I mean, when I go down there, and it is not pleasing to anybody. So if it's to say that all the waste goes to the river, and anybody downstream is feeding on that poisonous waste in terms of water. I would want to see proper arrangement to relocate such a site from the town. I know it was there many years when it was in the bush, but through this assembly, I think it will be their time to discuss relocating it to a suitable place out of the town center. Yes, and then that place, which I may say is already poisoned, you can't put a plot there. Then we'll put trees there for some time.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm through.
Just a last one, Chair. Thank you for allowing me. Mr. Mwendando, do you have an idea of the budget allocation to the ministry you're seeking to head? And how would you prioritize it?
I have just bits here and there because I was not already in the ministry, and it's only by talking to trying to look at the website. I think I dare say those 3 dockets have not a lion's share of what we need to achieve what we want. Environment is not getting a lot of money. It's maybe about 50 million. I mean, that is really peanuts to do what we want to do. So I'll be wanting to look. Of course, we need to match our budget with the activities we want to do. And that will now give me the justification to say what I require.
Mr. Mwendando, I asked, do you have an idea of how much? Some things are quantifiable.
Yes.
Like the ministry has been allocated 300 million or 100 million, and this is how I wish to prioritize.
No, I'm not having the idea now.
You don't have, thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Nganga. Mheshimiwa Majority Leader.
Through the chair, let me ask 2 final, very straightforward questions to Mr. Richard. If this House approves you as a CC for environment,
in your endeavors, in your working, in your execution of duties, in your formulation and implementation of your policies. How do you intend to partner with the County Assembly?
We start by the role of the County Assembly. It's oversight, first of all, and legislation. And the executive cannot formulate policies, execute them before they come to this noble house for your approval, for your recommendations or protection. So I intend to engage through consultation as we develop various policies and regulatory frameworks.
Thank you. Finally, do you know the chair of the relevant committee, the ministry that you have been nominated for in the assembly?
Yes, we talked, because I just was finding out. I can't recall the name now, but we talked to Mheshimiwa. He told me he's from Mwingi. We met previously many years when he was in another docket.
So you don't remember the name?
Yes.
Finally, sometimes...
But before you go ahead, that is a public document. We've already published all our committees.
Yes.
And all our chairs, vice chairs, and members. Are you not interested to know who are the members of this committee, Mheshimiwa Mwandando?
I'm
These are
very
the
much...
people who will be working with you.
Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
with a lot of respect, I'm very much interested in that.
Yes.
And it is why I talked to the chair to environment. But I think, as you say, that is in the public domain, and I should emphasize that I'll be looking at each one of you, those who are in my committees, so that they assist me in moving forward. Yes.
Continue, Mheshimiwa.
Finally, sometimes there may arise some issues whereby we need to summon a CC to appear in the relevant committee. What will be your willingness to appear to the relevant committee for clarification on the matters which will have arose?
From where I stand, I think as much as we talk of executive and legislation, we are one and the same, serving the same people. And I think very clear communication is very important. I have no problem at any time to be summoned to come and make clarifications of any either policy, instrument, or activity to be undertaken.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, I have just a small question.
Yes.
And this one is concerning the seedlings, as you said. Are you aware now that there are some members of KITUI County who have seedlings which have been promised by the county government after they plant, after the maturing of the seedlings they will buy? Are you aware of that? And if you are aware, what will you, in case you get this chance, what will you intake for those people to be compensated or for those seedlings to be adopted by the county assembly? Thank you.
One, I don't know under what contract agreements that was done. But to me, when it comes to seedlings production, from a national point of view up to the county, it was devolved at one point, given to people to save on money of having county nurseries where people can do that and you have the right arrangement. The danger here comes, is it the right seedlings? But if there is that engagement, you know what you are planting, because that's what we will need to plant either in Mudha or in some place. Because, you know, trees are not flowers. So if it tends to be the wrong seedlings, I'll have a problem. Where do I take these flowers? If it is the right seedlings, I have no hesitation, because we don't have nurseries, adequate nurseries to provide seedlings.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Mwandando, on the 11th day of October 2022, in the afternoon sitting of this House, the Governor did address this House on his agenda for the people of Kitui County.
Yes.
And we believe as a CC, we'll be here to help the Governor deliver on his agenda.
Yes.
Two questions. Number one, do you know the departments which the Governor's identified to be falling in your portfolio, the departments? And number two, what is the governor's agenda in your in your ministry, and how will you help to execute that agenda? That address is a public document. It is actually in our website, so you should
Yes.
have had a sight of that address.
Yes, on the departments, let me first take the broad dockets. Energy. Within energy, there is now the connectivity.
No, Mheshimiwa, be specific. There are only, I don't know, tell me how many departments
Yes.
are in your ministry, and give us the names of those departments. We don't know how many. Tell us.
I'm aware of 3.
Tell us those 3 departments.
Energy. In environment, there is environment and there is a climate change. I think it is falling under that docket. And we have mineral resources, which is just one single department.
Mr. Modan, did you read that address?
I did, even have it. But I can't recall all the details. But
You
also
don't even know
energy,
how many departments.
I've talked of 3.
You've talked of 3.
4, actually.
Oh, there are 4.
4, yeah.
So there are 4 departments. And you are certain there are 4 departments. Anyway, let's continue. Tell us the governor's agenda in your particular ministry, and how will you, because the governor's agenda is the agenda for the people of Kitui County. It is the agenda of the government of Kitui County. How will you, do you even know those particular specific agendas which the government of Kitui County through the governor want to implement? And I will follow up with on Honorable Nganga's question. In the first 100 days, there are specific agendas which the governor said he will execute within 100 days in your department. Do you know them?
Yes.
Tell us.
In energy, he was to repair all the street lights, the Mulikamwizi, that came under that docket, and that was very clear. In environment, we wanted to do several earth dams and check dams, sand dams, because these are easy to do before we go to the main ones and large dams. On climate change is to source funding from the Green Fund, and on mineral resources is just to work the sand issue, control and management of sand harvesting. Again, also on energy, the charcoal issue, bringing it back under control and proper management. Yes. On the environment, again, we have the issue of tree planting because the season is already on, and it was to provide seedlings to each family.
Thank you, Mr. Mandando. Is there any other question from my colleagues? As we wind up.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mheshimiwa Mwanya.
Thank you. With your permission, John Mandando, we have this issue of slaughterhouses, and in our big town near Kitui. How do you see it, where it is placed? Do you've given the chance, prefer to relocate it somewhere else?
I start by saying the issue of like the garbage dump sites is across the board. I know we are seeing the big one, the KITUI one, but I'm sure in Mwingi, when I go there, it's not in the right place. So that needs a review and an encouragement for the smaller urban centers where you come to think early enough where to take the urban. Coming to slaughterhouses. The slaughterhouse in KITUI, many years ago it was in the bush. Today is surrounded by development, and it is a nuisance to me, from what I say. But still it has to be done systematically and relocated to a place whereby it cannot be environmentally hazardous. Just to add into that, again, I've not been to Mwingi to know where the slaughterhouses. This is another area which we need to have an overall review of these slaughterhouses, because we are now urbanizing, we are growing, and seeing where they are best placed. It's just like issues of medical waste. Where do you take your needles and so on? These are areas in my portfolio. How do we handle medical waste? Do we take the needles to the same place, cause more problems, or burn it the wrong way? So, yes, I agree. From where I stand, in consultation with you, we'll be putting proper request for the slaughterhouse to be relocated. That's my take.
Chair, just a quick one.
Yes, Mr.
Mr. Mwendando. For the purposes of just sharing information, the governor did not commit to constructing dams under your ministry. It was in his agenda for water provision, not under environment. Thank you.
The way I see it,
it was not a question.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was more informatory.
Thank
Mheshimiwa Mwendando.
Yes.
So you have a question, Mheshimiwa?
Yeah, I
Mario?
just have a follow-up from the chair when you have asked the nominee about the 100 days, what he intends to do with what the governor's speech intends to do. He has said about the planting the trees, and in his response to my question, he said he did not know anybody who had the seedlings. Then where in your office, maybe when you get you succeed in this, where are you going to get these seedlings?
Could you kindly rephrase, because
when chair asked you about the 100 days on governor's speech, in response, in environment issue, you have said the governor had endorsed about the planting of the trees. And I had asked you about do you have an idea that there is some people, or some resident in Kitui County who has already planted some seedlings, and you said you don't know.
No.
Now, where being a nominee in CC in an environment, where are you going to get the seedlings to plant within 100 days?
I think, Mheshimiwa, what I said, maybe I did not come clear, is that as a person, I could not say so and so. But outside here, people have many seedlings, not just here, even in different wards. And also what I said is, I don't know the earlier contractual agreement of the arrangement of produce seedlings, how do we buy? However, I said if those contractual agreements are good and they are producing the right seedlings, I have no reason to look otherwise but to go for those seedlings. Yes. And also I'm aware that there has been a lot of tree planting during the rains in some of these areas recently.
Thank you.
Thank you. My question was, I think Chair has given me the question, the answer. I just don't want to hear from him that he knows there are some seedlings around.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
I did not want him to name specific somebody.
That's okay. Thank you, Mheshimiwa and honorable members. Allow me now, as we conclude, to give Mr. John, is it Richard John or John Richard?
Richard John.
Richard John.
Yes.
Mwendando. Strictly 5 minutes to tell us why this committee should consider you. In other words, tell us your wish.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I think my wish is to be approved by this committee. I mean, I would be cheating if I don't say that. I want to say, one, I'm very energetic and committed to serve this county. I'm bringing on board a very wide network of development partners, experience and skills, which I want to share and serve my people in partnership with you and other leaders. So I think that's very, 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 very clear. I believe in team spirit, teamwork. So again, that is something I want to bring on board with my departments and another partner who is working in this county for the betterment of our people. Lastly, I look forward, if I'm offered this chance, to be very open and work in partnership with the various representatives of, because you represent the people. So that I want to listen and look forward to formulate structures which serve the people without favor or without choosing different places, but universally available. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. We have taken more than the time we thought we will take with you. I hope you did not mind us asking you so many questions.
No, I do not mind, sir.
So thank you. On behalf of this committee,
Yes.
we have heard you. We will retire and prepare our report, and we will definitely consider what you have told us, because this is a process. And remember, you'll become a minister, not for the executive, but a minister for the county government of Kitui,
Thank you.
which comprises of the assembly and the executive. So you'll become a minister for the people of Kitui County, all of them.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. We wish you all the best. And I will request the Sergeant at Arms to lead you as you exit the chambers. The senior legal counsel will give you all your documents. Confirm they are all there. Confirm they are all
If I
there.
can confirm in the room there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time and the engagement we have had.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Clerk, please let the members get copies of the files for the next candidate. I believe it is Phoebe? Yeah, so. It has been settled. Before we call our next nominee, allow me, members, to recognize some other guests who have joined us. We have our colleague, member for Ikanga Kiatune Ward, Honorable Cyrus Musyoka Kisavi. Please, Mheshimiwa, wave at us. Thank you. When we meet next, you will tell us your experience while seated there with our able Deputy Governor. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me also, members, to recognize Reverend John Ikucha from ACK Kitui. Thank you very much, Reverend, for coming. I'm sure you have with you greetings from Archbishop Zimbi. Thank you very much. Continue praying for us. continue praying for us to do a good job. Members, also allow me to recognize Ustad Jaffa, Deputy Imam, Jamia Mosque KITUI. Asante sana, Ustad, kwa kuja. Please continue praying for us. Thank you. God bless you. Members, allow me also to recognize Honorable Mwangu Ivuti, former MP, KITUI South. Where is Honorable Mwangu Ivuti? Don't know whether he's the one who defeated the nominee who was just left. But thank you, Mheshimiwa Mwangu Ivuti, or maybe he was accompanying the nominee. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll keep on recognizing our visitors as they come. And our visitors, please feel free. Feel free. Don't be in a hurry to leave. We have organized lunch and refreshment for you, and indeed for all the people of KITUI County. Yeah, we are trying to make sure that this process is as open, transparent, and engaging as possible. Members of the public who are following us through the various social media platforms can give their response, and also if they want to ask any particular question, they can do so. And we'll be very happy to engage everybody, because we believe these nominees are meant to serve the people of KITUI County. So having said that, honorable members of the committee, allow me now to request the clerk to call upon the next nominee, who is Phoebe Ndonyo-Mutemi, nominee for Culture, Gender, Youth, Sports, and Social Services. And as she comes, we will follow the same procedure. We'll follow the same procedure, members. Please, let's try to be as brief as possible. As you ask your questions, remember we are vetting, not interviewing. So if the nominee does not answer your question correctly, just take note that the interviewer has not. Don't insist on getting a response, which you want. Yeah, we are vetting. We want to know their suitability. Are they suitable? Yeah, because you may have very good papers, but you're not suitable. Or you may have poor papers, but you're suitable. So members, let's have a wide scope of the things we want to gather from the nominees, so that we identify their suitability. Mheshimiwa Nganga, you want to say something? Thank you, Mheshimiwa Nganga. Yes. So let's wait for the next nominee. In the meantime, you can go through the files and make sure that you are prepared. If she's not here, we'll continue on a light note. I'm sure she's being brought. Members of the committee, allow me to introduce before you Phoebe Ndonyo-Mutemi, who is the CCM nominee for Culture, Gender, Youth, Sports, and Social Services. Karibu sana, Madam Phoebe Mutemi.
Thank you so much.
I can see you are prepared for this vetting.
I am.
Thank you. I will request our honorable clerk to administer the oath or affirmation to the nominee. You have the option of Quran, Bible, or affirm.
I, Phoebe Dunyu Mutemi, swear that the information that I shall give before this court, before this county assembly, select committee on appointments on matters under the committee's consideration shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
You may have to repeat again. I've heard the word court. This information is being recorded, so repeat, read the way it is.
I, Phoebe Dunyu Mutemi, swear that the information that I shall give before this county assembly select committee on appointments on matters under the committee, the matters under the committee's consideration shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. Madam Phoebe, once again, karibu sana.
Thank you.
So there's a vetting process. Please remember that everything you're going to say will be recorded and answered. And you have just sworn that you will tell the truth. Before I introduce the members, I will allow you to briefly tell us if you have to declare if you have any interest or you have had any past relationship with these honorable members before this committee.
I don't have any interest.
Do you have any past relationship with them, any member here?
No.
Thank you. Allow me now to introduce my fellow panelists. So I'll begin with the majority leader. And as you introduce yourself, also declare whether you have interest.
I'm Arson Maluki, elected by the great people of MWANYA ward. I'm the leader of majority and a member of this appointment committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
I have no interest.
Thank you, Honorable Maluki. Honorable Alex Nganga, please.
Thank you, Chair. My name's Honorable Alex Nganga, MCA, Miambani Ward, and Minority Leader of KITUI County Assembly, a member of this committee. No interest, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nganga. Honorable Hussein, Matthew Ngovi.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Matthew Ngovi, MCA Chulunu Ward. I'm Vice Chairman of County Assembly Service Board, and also I'm a member of this committee, and also I'm Chairman of the Implementation Committee. Chair, I don't have any interest.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Hussein Mwandia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Apart from the interest of introducing myself, Mr. Chair, I've got no other interest.
Thank you. Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair, I'm Hussein Mwandia, representing the great people of Ikuda, who have overwhelmingly elected me, Mr. Chair, and I respect them. I'm a member of County Assembly Service Board, and as well, a member of this committee, among others. Thank you.
Thank you, the able leader from Ikuda, Honorable Judith Wanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Judith Wanza, member of Parliament, I'm MCA New Ward, and at the same time, I do share the same docket, culture, gender, and youth. I'm the chair at the assembly, and I'm a member of appointment committee. Thank you.
Declare interest, Mheshimiwa. You just
No,
said
I have no interest, apart from getting the right person to work for the people of KITUI County.
Are you sure you're not interested? Because this is the same committee which you chair in the assembly. confirm for the record, do you have any interest?
I don't have.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you, honorable members of the committee. Let me now request the honorable clerk to introduce the secretariat.
Thanks, Chair. I'll start with myself, Mutambuki Elijah. I'm the clerk to the assembly. With me, among the members of the service, we have Madam KûTHûIMA. She's the deputy clerk. We have Mr. Josephat Kwanda, principal clerk assistant. Yes, I'm sure she's coming. We have Gladys Kanya, who is our senior legal counsel. We have Mercy Kalonzi, who is our procedural clerk. We have Alfred Malu, the other side, who is an answered editor. We have Lawrence Kirigwi, our senior sergeant. Alfred Malali, seated someplace, is our commissioner with us. And David Wambua, a commissioner with us. Eric Kasimbi, a commissioner with us. We have Kovi, a commissioner with us. Then we have our communication team, led by John Kibui, who is in charge of our communication team in the assembly. We have Lini Kialo. We have Dennis Kaviso. And we have Joshua Mwimi. Also along with us, we have the communication staff from the Governor's Press Unit, led by Joyce Mora. She has been around with us. I don't know. Oh, she's here. We have Njobri Kaviti, who we are with, and we have Patrick Mutinda. Those are coming from the Governor's Press Unit. They are employees of the county government with us. In addition, Honorable Chair, we have invited various media houses whom we have allowed honorably to be with us in the chambers or in the committee room. So others are from different media houses. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable clerk. Madam Phoebe Ndonyo Mutemi, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
I hope you are comfortable.
I'm very comfortable.
Have you taken tea?
Yeah, I have.
Thank you. So allow me to outline the mandate of this committee and to tell you the reason why you are here. This committee is established pursuant to Article 179 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And also it is also established under Standing Order 184.4 to consider for approval by the County Assembly appointments under Article 1792 members of the County Executive Committee. This committee has the sole mandate of ascertaining the suitability of nominees to discharge the duties of the public office to which the governor has nominated them. As we do our vetting, Madam Phoebe, we will only be asking you some general questions and also specific questions. We had allocated 1 hour to you. We may take lesser or more, depending on how you respond to questions. But remember, it is a vetting process, not an interview process. And anything which you will say will be recorded. Yeah, so you have sworn to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth. So I believe that you are going to tell us the truth. So I will be requesting the clerk to be timing where need be, or to allow you to respond to the specific questions. I will ask you a few questions before I allow my colleagues to also ask a few questions. I will request you to maintain a decorum. I will expect you to maintain decorum and to use respectful language. If a member asks you a question which is provoking, don't engage the members. Remember, you are talking to the people of Kitui County. These members are only representatives. So it is the people of Kitui County who are asking you these questions. So we expect you to maintain a decorum. Make sure your phone is off. Actually, you should not be having your phone here with you. If it is here, give Lawrence your phone, because we want you not to be disrupted as you respond to our questions.
Yeah, I don't have my phone.
Thank you. So I will ask our clerk to direct you, or rather to explain to you how these 3 lights work, because they'll be used to assist in timing.
Thank you, Chair. The conversation may be timed as directed by the Chair, and once that is said, you will get the green light on. If you are given 10 minutes, we will have the green light on to indicate it has started. After you have spent about 6 to 7, I will give you a warning, which will be yellow, telling you now you are supposed to just summarizing whatever you are saying, and closely. When you get the red one, then you are supposed to end your conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. Before I ask you questions, in the advertisement, we asked you to come with original documents of your academic credentials and any other relevant document. Do you have them with you?
Mr. Chairman, I do.
Please give them to our senior legal counsel. The Sergeant at Arms will assist. Thank you very much. Kindly confirm with a yes or no response whether you have with you a valid tax compliance certificate.
I do.
Do you have a certificate of compliance with the Director of Criminal Investigation?
I do.
Do you have a compliance certificate from the Higher Education Loans Board?
I do, Chairman.
Do you have compliance certificate by Credit Reference Bureau?
I do.
Have you been charged in any court, or have you been convicted?
I have not.
And have you been adversely mentioned in an investigatory or parliamentary report? If yes, give details.
No, I have not.
Thank you. I will give you 10 minutes, which the clerk will time, for you to tell us about yourself. Tell the people of Kitui, who is Phoebe Ndonyo Mutemi? Where do you come from? When were you born? Are you married? Family? Yeah? Your academic background, your professional background and work experience, whether you have good standing professionally. I've seen somewhere that you're a teacher. Are you in good standing with your employer? Tell us your work experience and how it is related to the position which you have been admitted for. And finally, before you end your introductory remarks, tell us your net worth and give us a breakdown of your net worth. So the 10 minutes begin now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this committee. First, I will begin by thanking you all for allowing me to be here for this vetting session. Secondly, I would like to thank His Excellency, Honorable Dr. Julius Malombe, for nominating me for this docket. Mr. Chairman, my name is Phoebe Ndonyo Mutemi. Phoebe was born in Kitui County, Kitui West Sub-County, Kûthûngûlûlwa Ward, Chamutimba Village. My early childhood, I grew in Chamutimba Village. Mr. Chairman, I want to talk about my educational background. I joined Chamutimba Primary School in 1991, where I spent my 8 years in my O-level. And I did my KCP in 1998, where I excelled so well. And I got a chance to join Chondoni Girls Secondary School in 1999, where I schooled for the 4 years. Until the year 2002, I did my KCSE. And Mr. Chairman, I excelled very well. In fact, I was the best in that year. Then after that, I spent some 2 years at home, because then we used to stay for 2 years before joining our colleges. In the year 2005, I joined Egerton University for my Bachelor of Education, Arts, Mathematics and Business Studies. I studied for 4 years and I graduated in the year 2008. In the same year, 2008, before the graduation, I had registered for CPA exams with the CASNEB. So I used to do my studies and then book for the exams. So in 2008, June, I sat for my CPA Section 1, which I did very well. Again, after graduation, December, I did my exam for CPA Section 2, and I excelled very well. Mr. Chair, after that, I continued doing my distance learning for the CPS, and I completed CPA Part 2 in 2012. Mr. Chair, 2021, I joined Kenyatta University for my master's degree in business administration, finance option, which I was doing in my evening classes, and I graduated in the year 2013. Mr. Chair, let me speak about my work experience. Immediately after graduation in 2008, I was lucky and I got a teaching job with the BOM terms at a school called St. Michael. At St. Michael, I taught for 1 year, and after that, I left the job due to some family reasons. After that, in 2010, I was lucky. I got employed by an NGO at Kariobanki, Ujamaa Watoto Wenye Haki, as an accountant and administrator. In that NGO, the main objective was to uplift and to empower some of the vulnerable group in Korokocho slums. During that time, apart from doing the accounting work, since I had some skills in training, I used to train the people in Korokocho about some of the skills in doing the businesses. Then after that, I worked in that NGO from 2010 to August 2011, from which I felt overwhelmed because the same time is when I was doing my master's, evening classes, and I was also continuing with my CPAs. So I resigned in 2011, and I concentrated on doing my master's degree. Then after that, I did not stay for a long time. In 2012, that is exactly 5th October 2012, that is when I got a TSC employment on permanent basis at a school called Kithioko Secondary School. And that is where I've been working up to date. At Kithioko Secondary School, I had some duties and responsibilities, and one of the core duties I had is to teach my specialized subjects, that is mathematics and business studies. I also, apart from teaching, I also had other responsibilities. Immediately when I joined Kithioko Secondary School, I was appointed as the head of mathematics department, where I tried to lead the mathematics department so that we can uplift the main school of mathematics for Kithioko students. Apart from that, I was also appointed as a senior teacher in 2016, whereby I have been dealing with the discipline of the students as well as doing curriculum development. Again, I was also appointed as a board member representing the staff in the board of management, and I have been working, or I have been sitting on the board of management up to date. Again, Mr. Chair, during my working time, I also had a chance and I was appointed as the trainer of teachers in Simase. Simase is strengthening mathematics for secondary school education. And I was training teachers in the county, Machakos County, so that we can improve the performance of mathematics and also integrate ICT in learning and teaching. Again, Mr. Chair, when I joined Kidioko Secondary School, I found that they did not have a welfare group, and I initiated and started a welfare group with the teachers, where I was the chair led, and I've led the group to this far, and we have done many things, investments, and so forth. Mr. Chair, in my working, I've gained a lot of experience from the duties and the roles I was given. I attained some competencies, integrity, communication skills. I'm able to intermingle with the others, and I've gained the skills of working in a team. Again, Mr. Chair, I am also a trained examiner. I mark mathematics paper 2, so I have the skills of integrity, and I exercise them. Mr. Chair, I want to go to my social life. I am married. I have children. I participate actively in the community. I'm married to one man.
Be specific.
I'm married to one man, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
And I have 3 children.
Thank you.
I actively participate in the community. Mr. Chair, as we talk, I intermingle very well with the women around the community. In fact, Mr. Chair, I have joined around 3 self-help groups where we empower ourselves as women and try to empower others in the community. And again, apart from empowering ourselves, we also try to visit the vulnerable group, like the elderly, and provide them with some help. Mr. Chair, I think I'm through.
Thank you. I can add you one minute if you are not through. The clerk should not scare you. Do you need 1 minute to finish? Because there are 2 questions you haven't responded to. The question on net worth, you have not.
Yes,
So
Mr. Chair.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Very fast, I'll go to my net worth. I'm worthy 45,950,000. And I will give my breakdown. And Mr. Chair, as I give my breakdown, the net worth includes the fixed assets and the family investments. I have a Zuva farm, which is worthy 5,000. And the Zuva farm includes our house, 5 million. And this one includes our house, which is worthy 2 million. A boho, which is worthy 1.6 million. Land, 6 acres, worthy 1.2. And we have livestock and the little amount of manahan, which amounts to 200,000. Mr. Chair, I have with Yei Farm 13 acres, which is worthy 2 million. 2 vehicles, which are worthy 4 million. We have 2 plots, 50 by 100 at Soya Dam Estate, worthy 2 million. I have a Mwingi project, which is ongoing, which is worthy 6 million. We have Seaton investment. That is Seaton investment.
Can she finish first?
Which is worthy 6 million.
Phoebe, wait a minute.
Chair, I would want the nominee to clarify. At some point, she's saying, I have. At other point, she's saying, we have. So basically.
Yes, we are actually interested in what you have.
Thank you, Mr.
As a family or as an individual? It is
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've said the breakdown I'm giving, the net worth I've indicated, it's what I have and the family investment because I'm part and parcel and I'm a shareholder.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes. So I've said I have a Seaton investment worth 6 million. I have Mwalimu Sacco shares worth 850,000. I have a self-help group where I have 400,000 shares. I have another self-help group, Kidioko Investment, worth 200,000. I have a plot at Kwamudusi worth 500,000. And I have a Mempley estate house worth 20 million. When you do your calculation, and before that I have a liability with Mwalimu National Circle, a loan of 1 million. So my net worth becomes 45,950,000, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'm not a mathematician, so I will trust your breakdown. And I believe the total of 45 million, you have fully accounted for it.
Yes.
Because after you gave the asset of 20 million, then I had no doubt that the net worth could be 45 million. So thank you for being very transparent with regards to your net worth. And you only have one liability, or you have other liabilities apart from this 1 million. Is it circle loan? Do you have any other liability? Have you taken Asula fund?
At the moment, no.
Okay, so this is the only liability you have?
Yes.
For you alone or the entire family? No other liability?
No other liabilities.
Okay, thank you. Madam Phoebe, I've noted that in your CV, you are still in service as a teacher, right?
Yes, sir.
I hope you are aware that a teacher is a public servant.
Yes, I know.
I mean a public officer.
Yes.
And Madam Phoebe, section 54 of the County Governments Act is read together with Article 75 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. There is no way you can be both a public officer and a state officer, because a CCM is a state officer. A teacher is a public officer. Assuming this committee vets and approves you to be the CCM for this particular portfolio, what are your plans with regards to ensuring full adherence to Article 75 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 54 of the County Governments Act?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I understand very well I should not hold two jobs simultaneously. But I want to say that, Mr. Chair, at the moment, I'm just a CC nominee. According to the Code of Regulation of TSC, we have a service called Transfer of Services. And immediately I get the appointment, if I will, sir, I will transfer my services directly. So it means that I will not be holding two positions as a public officer. And I acknowledge your letter, which you sent, and I've already written the letter and attached the documents that shows that Code of Regulation of TSC offers that services, and it requires an appointment letter for the services to be transferred to the other ministry.
Thank you. Thank you for responding to that question. Allow me now to request my colleagues to ask you a few questions which you will have to respond to their satisfaction. If they attack you so much, I can protect you, but you have to respond to all the questions which will be asked by my colleagues. So I'll begin with Honorable Harrison Maloki Mawea, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Phoebe Ndunyu Mutemi, I have two questions for you. Number one, can you explain to us your understanding on the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Youth, ICT, Sports and Social Services, and what you will offer in that ministry, if approved by this House, to the great people of KITUI?
Through Mr. Chair, thank you very much, Honorable Member. I want to answer or to respond to your question. The Ministry of Culture, Gender, Youth, ICT, Sports and Social Services is a wide ministry, and I'll break it down according to the sections. I'll start with culture. Culture, it's where we need to preserve the Kamba culture in the Kitui County. We have the gender mainstreaming, ensuring that there is equality between the gender, that is the women and the men. We have youth. In the youth, we are dealing with the youth issues. As you understand that the youth, we have many issues, which includes one, we have the unemployment and underemployment. We have healthy-related issues in youth. We also have school dropouts. We also have some deviant behaviors in youth. So in that, we are going to look at all that. Then ICT, information, communication technology. We are looking at how we are making the world digital, all the services, and make it easy to offer services. Then sports. In the sports, we are looking at how we can develop the sports talent, as well as developing the sports infrastructure and facilities. Then social services, how we help the most vulnerable group in the community and in Kitui at large. Now, the next question is what I'm supposed to do for the ministry. Now, for the ministry, starting with the culture, as a CEC, or if appointed as the CEC, I'm going to develop the culture of our community and preserve the culture of our community. Remember, we cannot know where we are going unless we know where we are coming from. So we go deep to preserving our culture for our future generation. Then in the gender, I'm looking at empowering the women socially and economically. Honorable members, we know that when women are empowered, then it means that the world will be habitable for all of us. Because when the woman is empowered, then it means that there is peace in the family and there is peace in the Kitui County at large. Then the youth are solving problems of unemployment for the youth, looking at youth issues, how to eradicate or curb the drug and substance abuse. Then our ICT, how we are going to promote the ICT and equip ICT centers with the necessary facilities. Thank you,
Just a
Mr. Chair.
follow-up question. Looking at your CV, the only ICT experience you have is proficiency in Windows environment, competent in Microsoft Office application suite, database management, knowledge in navigating the internet, and emails and the use of projectors, especially when teaching learners. Is this experience enough to help you lead that particular docket? Because basically this is the introduction to computer studies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You find that in ICT, when you get the basic ideas, you are able to navigate and understand more about ICT.
Tell us the meaning of ICT.
ICT is information communication technology, where we are able to get information online, use the internet and other social medias to do different things. Like for example, in ICT, we can try to make things like e-services, whereby we can be receiving services through the internet. We can also use ICT as a kind of job. Like for example, the social medias we have, the YouTube and so forth. Those are all involved in the ICT, and we can use them to earn living, especially the youth and so forth.
That was my first question. Although you have talked about youth unemployment, you haven't given us exactly how you will solve that problem. You have said that you will create youth employment. I don't know how. My next question is on ICT. We have a margin. Actually, IT evolves each and every day. We have some of the emerging technologies. Now they have been called the 2023 emerging ICT technologies. Are you aware with the N3 of the emerging ICT technologies? And also, as you answer that, what role do you think ICT can play in enhancing service delivery to the people of Kitui County? Because from where I sit and from my understanding that we have not yet absorbed the usage of ICT to the level it is required when we benchmark with some of the counties in existence in our country. So my first question is, are you aware that of the emerging ICT technologies? Just examples, 3 of them. Then you answer my question on how ICT will enhance service delivery in Kitui County.
Thank you, Honorable Harrison. Before I come to ICT, I want first of all to respond to your answer of how I'll create the jobs for the youth. Number 1, creating the jobs for the youth. 1, I'll encourage the kind of education and training which offer technical and vocational skills for the youth to engage in self-employment. And that one, basically, I will look at it from the schools, especially the secondary schools. You find that most of the youth, when they don't qualify for the universities, they think that that one is all done. But we have the TVET colleges where they can get the vocational and technical training and be equipped for the self-employment. Number 2, to the youth, I will sensitize and come up with training on saving and investments so that the youths can be able to start up some businesses. And then I also encourage them or I sensitize them on some of the programs which can help them to access the credit. Like, for example, the Youth Fund, the Wezo Fund, and so forth. And in this case, they have to get the training on entrepreneurship because most of them, they know where to get the credit, but on how to use it now to start up the entrepreneur, some of the small businesses, it becomes a problem. Number 3, I'll also sensitize the youth and train them on registering some of the businesses so that they can benefit in the 30% reservation on the access to government procurement opportunities. Again, as I come to that of ICT, we have that program we call the Ajira program, which is a national initiative to create jobs for the youth. I'll also encourage and sensitize them on training because we have trainings everywhere on that so that the youths can engage themselves on those kind of programs and try to get some of the employment from that. Like, for instance, they are trained on how they can use some of these social medias, not only for communication, but also for earning some kind of income. Again, I'll try to create some linkage for the youth to get some, maybe we talk of internship programs, so that they can get these skills and experiences. Because you find that in the job market, every company and organization, they are talking of we need experienced people, 3 years experience and so forth. So if you link, if I link this youth to internship and volunteerism, they can be able to get these experiences and be able to get the jobs in the formal employment. And again, we try to educate the youths because you find that some of them, after all the kind of training, someone is invited for an interview and then they don't present them in the manner that is required.
That is enough on job creation for youths.
Yeah, let me come to the other question of the ICT. You've asked about the three ICT programs. The ICT programs, I'll just talk of that Ajira program.
Not really programs.
Yes.
It is the emerging technologies.
The emerging technologies, Honorable, let me say that for that I will research on that.
Okay, thank you. Now, my last question was on how you will enhance, how do you think ICT will enhance service delivery to the people of KITUI? Have you thought of anything, any innovation you can bring up which can help in delivering the services to our people?
Thank you very much. Now, I want to say that ICT, one, it makes delivery of services efficient, effective, and timely. Now, when all the services are automated such that you can be able to get your service using your digital, or using your own maybe mobile phones, your laptops, to get all the services, you find that that one will be enhancing the delivery of services.
Thank you. Chair.
Chair, just
Back
a
to
follow-up
you.
question.
Follow-up question, yes, Mheshimiwa.
Mine is on a gender issue. She's talked of the equality between the equality. What about your policy or the measures about the boy child?
Thank you so much. When I talk of the equality, the boy child is not forgotten. Because here in this ministry, it is all around, we are also talking about the youth. Remember, the youth revolves around most of the institutions, even just before the gender role came. When you just observe and do your research, you'll find that mostly the male gender occupies every part. So the male child is already empowered, but still in the gender inequality, we also empower them, maybe directly from the youth. Remember, the youth are the future generation. So if we start empowering them from the youth, then we will also get the male gender empowered.
Have I just heard you say that the boy child is already empowered? So I think I read some bias that you've already formed your mind that the boy child is okay. You are here to take care of the girl child.
Mr. Chair, I have not done that. I want to just look at the house, wherever we are. In the committee here, when we look at the gender, the highest percentage is the male gender. We only have one woman in the committee. What does that one tell us?
You tell us. You are the one answering questions.
That one tells us that the boy child is already catered for. Although we are not saying that we are not going to cater for the boy child.
Mheshimiwa Nganga, you have a question?
I have a question.
Let's listen to Mheshimiwa Nganga.
Madam Vibi, are you criticizing an institution you expect to give you a job?
No, I cannot with all due respect.
Do you have a better example? That's what Mheshimiwa Nganga is telling you.
I cannot do that, but it is evidence. Yes.
So you are saying it is already evidence that the boy child is okay. You are coming here to take care of the girl child. That's what
Mr.
you are
Chairman,
saying. Yes.
don't misquote me.
Yes.
I've given the example which is available at the moment.
Yes.
Yes.
But answer the questions. If you become now the CC, and now this gender issue is before your desk.
Now, look at this. When I was talking about creating jobs, I've mentioned about 30% reservation for the women, youth, and the vulnerable group. Now, it means that the other 70%, it's for all.
Now, if this the remaining 70%, chances are women take it all. Will you not fight for the boy child?
I am going to do that, sir.
Because you are the minister for both the male and the female. Anyway, continue. Mheshimiwa Matthew.
Also to add something, Chair, when you are given a chance, and you know this time, and I just want to quote Mukoka, is killing most of men, most of boy child. What initiative are you going to take to protect the boy child this time?
Thank you very much. That is an emerging issue which is affecting mostly the boy child, although the girl child is also involved. And I thank you for that question because I've seen it. Because in my teaching career, I get involved in these youth and I've seen what they do. So if appointed as a CC, number one, I will encourage guidance and counseling right from the secondary schools. Because when these people are guided, they are shown the right way. Number two, I will also sensitize the community and the people of Kitui, right from the community, from other forums, like the churches and so forth, to talk about this issue of the MIRA, drug and substance abuse, so that they can sensitize them on the negative effects and the dangers of the drug and substance abuse. Number three, I'll also look at sensitizing and even educating the parents to be the role models. Because if the parents becomes the role model and have time for their kids or for their children, then they will be able to give their first guidance from the homestead. Again, we look at coming up with rehabilitation centers so that we can be able to rehabilitate those who have been addicted by these drugs.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Matthew. Honorable Alex Nganga, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable, the nominee, Madam Fib, first, congratulations on your nomination. And then again, I'll just be brief because basically, in a nutshell, when the majority leader was on the floor, you might have addressed many things we wanted to hear. You've talked about measures taken by the government to enhance access to government procurement opportunities for people living with a disability, women, and the youth. Now, if you are confronted with a situation as a CCM, remember you wield executive authority, whereby there is only one opportunity, or there is only one tender to be given, and there is a woman and a youth competing for the same. And remember, both are prioritized and huggable. Where will you cast your die?
Thank you very much, Honorable Nganga. Through the chair, now I'm posted with this question. We have one opportunity, and we have a woman and youth. Now, in this regard, as the CEC, I'm going to look at the qualification, the board. And again, we have a budget. Maybe once a budget, we also have another one. So if it can only accommodate one, then we can look forward. If anything else comes up, then we can consider the other one.
Madam Phib,
Yes.
you are confronted with a situation whereby you have to make a decision. There is an opportunity here. Let's even call it a tender. All the qualifications have been met, but there is a woman here and there is a youth here. You have to make a decision. On this, both of them equals, one has to get the opportunity. Where will the opportunity under your guidance go? Because it has to be given anyway.
Okay. Now, in that case, I will consult with the department, and if I was to rule, then my ruling should be through the consultation of the department we are working with, because I'm not working alone. We have a team, and then we come up with a decision.
Please don't avoid the question.
Just answer the question.
You are the minister.
All that has been done.
Yes.
All the reports have
You are
been
the
brought
minister.
to
Now,
you.
how will you address that issue as you? Because the person who is here is not the whole Department of Gender, Youth, ICT. It is you. You are the minister. You sit at the cabinet level. Yeah? How will you make that decision as a person?
Now, if that one now comes up, and I need to make the decision, then I'll go for the youth.
You will go for the youth.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Maybe one or two reasons? Not many, just one or two reasons.
Yeah. Now, when the youth is empowered through that, maybe that job opportunity, number one, the youth is a key resource. And according to the way the world is becoming, sometimes the youth, you find that maybe they can come up with more ideas. I'm not saying that the woman will not come up with more ideas and so forth. Again, the youth is energetic and also can provide for more people around the community.
Don't worry about it. There was no specific answer to it. We just wanted to hear your thinking about it. And remember, in such a scenario, the youth could also be a lady. So you might find yourself with the two women whom you have to make a decision, but you don't go further on that. There was no specific answer to the same chair. We just don't want to hear, if confronted with such a situation, probably how we should handle it. Now, Madam Phib, you have been nominated to a very sensitive docket. A docket which basically will take care of our people living with disability in this county. A docket which will take care of our youth in this county, and a docket which will take care of our women, including many other social issues. So it's a very sensitive document. And I believe, like you have just elaborated before, you've also done your homework to research on the same. Because upon approval by this assembly, if that happens, His Excellency can give you a job opportunity immediately, and you have to start working. In your understanding and estimation, how many people in Kitui County are living with a disability?
Okay. Right now, Honorable Nganga. Nganga.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry for that.
No problem.
Yeah. I've not researched on the specific. Yeah. But I will do that.
Thank you. Now,
Let me ask a follow-up question. So,
No
do you
problem,
have
sir.
any plan for the PWDs? You don't even know the estimated number of them in Kitui County.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What is your plan?
I have a plan. First of all, making sure that the people living with disabilities are respected by everyone, Number two, making sure that we assist these people living with disabilities, maybe by acquiring some of the equipment that can assist them, like the wheelchair. And again, making sure that the people living with disability also benefit from this access to government procurement opportunities.
At the policy making level, because as a CCM, you also exercise collective responsibility. You're also going to sit at the County Executive Committee. Are you aware of challenges faced by people living with disability in public places?
Yes.
And if you are, just name a few and give us suggested solutions to the same.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Now, you find that some of the constructions, like the building, they don't cater for these people living with disabilities. You can find that maybe in the public toilets, the way they are constructed, even the people living with disabilities cannot access them. So those are some of the things we are going to look at. The public places, we make sure that if there is any kind of construction being done, we cater for them, and we make sure that the people living with disabilities feel comfortable and they are respected by like any other person.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just drawing the attention of the chair because it's a very important issue which you have elaborated very well, and I thank you for that. My last one, Chair, is on sports. Are you aware of the existence of a sports policy by the county government of KITUI? And if you are, can you, in a very brief manner, highlight of it?
Yes, I'm aware of the existence of the sports policy, and in it, the main objective is the talent development and also the development of the infrastructure. In the talent development, they focus on developing the talent of individuals and also teams and the clubs.
Thank you, that is enough. My last one, we have had teams, and let me speak more of football teams in Kitui County, and take pride in at least two. I know there are many which are doing very well. There is one called MJS in Mwingi. There also existed another one called Kûthûngûlûlwa Football Club here in Kitui. And we have had cases or achievements by those teams whereby they have played to the level of joining regional tournaments. But at the end of the day, they begin very well. No, by the beginning, they begin very well. But as they progress, you realize they are not even able to honor
away matches. Just in football, away matches is where you play away from your home. Maybe going to Thika, maybe going to Meru. And at the end of the day, when we thought they were good enough to join the National Premier League, it just ends there. What support would you suggest or would you give to such a teams so that we see their progress, probably to join the Kenya Premier League?
Thank you. I'm aware of this. And in additional of the ones you have talked about, in my sub-county, we also have another one, the biggest tournament, that is the Guna Cup, which is doing very well. Now, if appointed as a CC, I want to promise that I have to support the sports, because you find that sports is a social integration, and it helps in the economic development. Now, in these teams, first of all, we have to support them by training the coaches. We have to identify coaches which we can train through seminars, symposiums, retreats, so that they can assist these teams to be competitive enough. Number two, we look at the playgrounds they are using. are these playgrounds up to standard? And if they are not, we try to upgrade them so that we can make these teams comfortable and do well. Again, we also sponsor them, maybe in their competitions, and we also honor the best so that we can initiate the spirit of competition.
Thank you, Chair, for the questions. But just for clarification from this end, the biggest tournament is called Nganga Cup, not Nguna Cup.
Thank you, Honorable Nganga. I'm sure the nominee was only giving an example. And now she's aware that there is Nganga Cup. In your records, in the ministry records, make sure you have that in your records so that you support the cup accordingly. And I'm sure there are so many other tournaments which are being organized by our leaders. We believe that as a CCM, you will support all of them. Allow me now to request Honorable Matthew Ngobibode to also ask you a few questions. Let's try to be brief, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just, I'll just ask you two questions. One, I'll just ask you about the social, and it is about the culture. Most of places, all our sub-counties, they don't have the social halls, all those things. So that when they are preparing about the culture events and festivals, we don't have places we meet, we can organize all those things. Which measures are you going to put to make sure that we have a social halls, maybe sub-county levels, something like that?
Thank you, Honorable. Through the chair, I'll answer that question. Now, if a in different ways, like buying the sporting equipment, like the balls, the uniforms, and also maybe sponsoring them in
Chair, I just want to ask you, what will be your coincidence between all relationship between you as a minister, for example, if you have been approved, and the county assembly?
Thank you very much. Through the chair, I want to say that the county assembly and the CEC, all of them, they are having the same objective. The objective is the people of Kitui County. Now, knowing that the CEC is only at the implementation level, while the county assembly is at the legislative level. So my relationship with the county assembly, I should exercise a lot of respect and mutual understanding with the county assembly, and our relationship should be cordial.
Mheshimiwa, do you know all the members of the county assembly, secretarial committee on culture, gender, youth and sports? Is that committee? Do you know the members of that committee? Because that is the only way or the best way in which you can engage the assembly.
Mr. Chair, right now, I don't know them, but I know the chair. She's right here. Honorable.
Did you know her before you came?
I knew she's in the committee, but I didn't know her.
So you don't know the members of that committee. So how will we don't see any passion in you that you'll be engaging the assembly through that particular committee.
Mr.
Or
Chair,
you'll be doing your own work.
Mr. Chair, immediately yes. I get the appointment. I'm a social being. And to start working, first of all, you need to know whom you're working with. So that one will be my first thing to do. Know the people in the committee and form a relationship, which I've already talked about.
So before you are appointed, you will not have any interest of knowing the members?
Already I know the chair, so it to know the members. Yes.
And how many departments do you have in your docket?
We have 2 departments.
Which are?
We have the culture, gender, and the youth. And then we have the culture, gender, ICT. Then we have sports, youth sports, and social services.
Go and research again and know their correct names. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Mutemi, you are the one.
Yeah, I'm the one.
Yeah. Can you share with us what you experienced when you realized that you have been nominated by His Excellency, the Governor of KITUI, Dr. Julius Makau Malombe?
Thank you, Honorable. To be sincere, I never knew whether I'm a nominee to this docket. Until that time, I remember very well, I was in school, and around 3 p.m., not exactly, around 3 p.m., I started receiving some phone calls from different people. In fact, the first phone call I received from one of the members of the county assembly, but I never knew whether he's a member of the county assembly, telling me that he can see my name somewhere. So I was not sure about it. Then I received several other calls confirming that. And for some minutes, I did not know how to react. But now it is sunk that I am the nominee after some hours.
So it was an end of year surprise.
It was a surprise.
Thank you. Guided by our Constitution of Kenya 2010, Youth lies on which chapter of the Constitution? Youth, the gender, the PLWDs.
You don't know, say you don't know.
I'm not very sure, but I know it is there.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Article 26, if I may refer, because this is a replica of a Bible, if I may quote, Article 26, 1, every person has the right to life. Okay, I read together with the Article 55, 54, and the 55. The 54 talks about disabilities, people living with disabilities. And they have their entitlements, isn't it? As per the law. The Article 56 talks of youth. They also have their rights. Madam Mutemi.
Yes.
Please tell us what measures you will put in place to map out PLWDs and youth and the youth, so that there is equitable allocation of the available opportunities.